Question. What do you do when your best friend's number suddenly says, "not recognized," and her parents swear she never existed? Cool. Welcome to tonight's story. I'm not writing this for karma. I just need it out of my head so I can sleep, or at least stop seeing the little boy's tear-stained face. I'm 19. I like anime. And yes, I'm one of those people who still buys physical manga even though my room is already a fire hazard. So when Corvus Con opened up 30 minutes from my town, I grabbed the cheapest weekend pass, put together a half-decent Pochita hoodie, and texted my best friend Liv that we were going. She answered with her standard bet and a gif of a sparkly idle wink. We met in year 9 drawing fan art behind the gym, so cons are our thing. The first weird moment happened at registration. I'd printed my QR code at home because my phone screen has a permanent crack like a tiny lightning bolt, and scanners hate me. The volunteer, girl with acrylic nails, pastel bob, and those cat eye contacts, barely looked at the paper. She slapped a wristband on me and said, "Welcome, Slayer," in this flat, not joking tone. I laughed like, haha, cute theme, but she didn't smile. Her contact lenses reflected me back as two skinny, nervous versions of myself. "Do we get a discount for exorcisms?" I asked. She blinked, then slid a brochure forward. "Floor 3 is closed," she said. "Construction." Except the brochure showed a big red block on floor 3 labelled Idle Training Experience. Demon Hunters Live. And under it, tonight only. Invite only. Someone had put a black line through it with a Sharpie. It bled around the edges. Liv wasn't there yet, so I killed time in the vendor hall. It was huge. Rows of posters, plushies, enamel pins, swords that were definitely not sharpened, and wigs piled like cotton candy. A cosplayer, as a pale shrine maiden, walked by with a handbag patterned in little white crows. I noticed it because the print was actually kind of cute. A repeating line of crows with their wings half open, like beckoning. The strap was fraying. She kept glancing over her shoulder, even though nobody was following her. I got a text from Liv. "I'm in. Black hoodie, wolf ears. Don't judge." I turned, and she materialized from a crowd of Genshin Impact characters like she'd been spawned. Wolf ears, as promised, and a hoodie that said, "I paused my riz to be here," in cracked white. She had winged eyeliner sharp enough to send someone to A&E. "You see the invite-only thing?" she asked, as we did our awkward hello hug around her tote bag. "Anime is finally coming back, Demon Slayer. K-pop Demon Hunters. It's trending. Hashtag K-Hunters Challenge, hashtag fell in love, and then it died, all that. My For You page is clogged with it. I thought that was just TikTok thirst traps." "That's how they get you." She grinned. "There's a live thing tonight. Floor 3. "It's closed," I said, showing her my brochure. "Oh, mine's not like that," she said with a smirk, wiggling the wristband she'd just gotten. It was the same as mine, grey fabric, plastic fastener, but hers had a tiny stamped symbol I hadn't noticed on mine. 3 equal lines inside a circle. Unhindered access, apparently. Some guy gave me this and said, "You're perfect." Creepy, but I'll take the clout. I checked my band. No stamp. We hit Artist Alley, bought stickers we didn't need, posed for a photo with a guy dressed as an unhinged school mascot, and then got swept into a panel called The Music Behind the Magic. It was advertised as a talk about composing for anime, but the panellists all wore the same matte black windbreakers, and the slides were just looping B-roll of Soul at Night. Every question got the same rehearsed answer. We train to protect audiences. We harmonise the dark out of the room. People clapped like seals. I clapped too because it felt like if I didn't, I'd be the only one. Liv squeezed my knee under the chair. "You feel that?" What? She tilted her head toward the ceiling. The room hummed, not with the AC, but like a faraway choir warming up through a wall, one note held too long. It got under your molars the way a dentist's drill does. I covered my ears, and it didn't help. When we shuffled out, a staffer in a red lanyard stood in the hallway with a clipboard, smiling too hard. "Everything going well?" he asked each passerby. "Finding your way okay?" His eyes didn't move when he smiled, like the expression was stapled on. Liv nudged me. "Floor 3. I'm not allowed in, I'll get kicked out." She pocketed her phone. "I'll be your lawyer." We tried the main stairwell first. A strip of yellow tape crossed it with no access in block letters. A volunteer sat on a metal chair at the landing scrolling his phone. He didn't look up when we passed, but when we set a foot on the first step he said, without raising his head, "Closed." "What's on floor 3? I asked. "Nothing for you, darling." He finally glanced up. His pupils were weirdly dilated, barely any iris. "Renovations. But the Demon Hunters show is there tonight. Only the marked." He went back to his phone. Liv mouthed "security door" at me, and we looped around the building. Past a row of arcade cabinets that were definitely not licensed. Past a merch booth selling shirts with "I survived Corvuscon" in bloody letters that felt, in retrospect, sarcastic. We found a fire door propped with a wedge of folded cardboard. Above it, a red exit sign flickered even though it was the middle of the day. "Don't think about how illegal this is," Liv said, and pulled the door open. Concrete stairs. Fluorescent lights, with that faint strobing you only notice if you look at them too long. We went up one flight, then another. The hum from the panel followed, louder. It made the hair on my arms lift. At the top, another door, unlabeled. I pushed. It gave with a sticky gasp. We stepped into a hallway with a low ceiling and carpet the color of chewed gum. The air smelled like fabric spray and burnt sugar, like someone had doused a fire with a bottle of perfume. The first door on the right was cracked open. Inside, a half circle of folding chairs faced a makeshift stage lit by 2 clammy spotlights. A handful of people sat in the chairs with posture like puppets. On stage, girls stood, heads bowed, idols, or trying to be. Glass skin, shiny hair, jewelry that caught the light like fishhooks. A fourth person in a headset whispered to them, then counted down on fingers. 3, 2. They snapped into a pose with impossible precision. The track kicked in, soft and syrupy at first, then dropping so hard it pressed on the base of my skull. I didn't know the lyrics, but my mouth still tried to copy them. The 3 girls moved in sync, steps that shouldn't line up with human joints. They clapped on the offbeat, and the claps didn't echo. Liv's breath tickled my ear. "It's them," she whispered, almost laughing. "It's actually them." "Don't be dumb," I said, but my voice was thin. "They're people." Except the girls on that stage looked exactly like the Huntrix, down to the impossible pastel hair, the poreless skin, the sharp, shiny eyes that only exist in animation. They weren't cosplayers doing a good job. They looked like they were the characters, slotted into real air like someone exported them wrong. Every micro-habit matched. The purple-haired leader's half smile on beat 4. The red-haired girl's wrist roll before a spin. The shortest one's toe tap no one notices unless you've watched a million edits. It felt like my screen had leaked these animations into real life. Liv squeezed my sleeve. "This is like an open rehearsal, right? We could..." The guy in the headset turned and smiled with all his teeth. "Welcome," he said. "You're just in time for the warm-up." Audience bodies changed the math. "What math?" I asked. He lifted a finger to his lips, amused. Shh. You'll ruin the take. People say you can feel when you're being watched. That's what everyone in horror movies says. But it wasn't that. It was more like the watching was a third thing in the room. Like the 3 girls, and the headset guy, and us. And then another thing draped over the ceiling, like the air had draped itself on hooks. The song slid into a chant. The girls moved with the kind of tight, snapping control you only get by bleeding for it. They smiled soft, then too wide, then didn't smile at all. The headset guy turned, scribbled on a clipboard, turned back. Someone in the chair started to cry without sound, tears slipping like he wasn't part of the decision. Liv's fingers were digging into my wrist. We should go, she said, except her voice was thin, and her eyes were fixed on the one with black hair. She reached an arm out, hand slicing the air, and I had the dumb thought, she's pointing at me. Then the lights popped, actual pop, like a bubble, and everything went black for one breath. When they came up again, one of the people in the half circle was gone. Empty chair. Everyone looked at it, then looked away at the exact same time, like rehearsed. The headset guy didn't react. He said, again, and the 4 on stage reset. What the hell? I said. I reached for Liv's hand. She wasn't there. I didn't think. I just stood up so fast my chair scraped. Liv? Heads turned because of the noise, not because of her name. The empty chair in the half circle looked like a pulled tooth. Nobody was flinching. A girl to my left dabbed at her eyes without a sound, the way you clean a window so it doesn't streak. Liv? I tried again, louder. The headset guy appeared beside me. I swear he didn't walk. He was just suddenly there, close enough that I saw a smear of foundation on the cream edge of his earpiece. Please keep your seat, he said very kindly, like a priest. His smile had a shape, a perfect oval, like it had been traced. My friend, she was just here. I pointed at the empty chair, then at the aisle. My hand shook. Tall, black hoodie, wolf ears. What did you do? He followed my finger as if we were both admiring a painting. Oh, he said softly, and something lit behind his eyes, not surprise, more like relief. Did she have a stamp? What? On her wristband. The mark. He wiggled his own wrist without looking. 3 equal lines inside a circle flashed on his band, debossed rather than inked. Some do. Some don't. She... Yeah. I looked at my own band, slowly inching my hand behind my back. She had one. Then she's where she's meant to be. My mouth opened and nothing came out. Heat crawled up my neck. Meant to be where? He glanced back at the stage. The 3 girls held a final shape, heads bowed, stomachs rising and falling like they'd run a race. The hum in the room had a taste now, penny metal on the back of my tongue. Please, he said, still gentle. You're disrupting calibration. Audience bodies change the math. You keep saying that. I could hear my voice going weird and thin. The version of me that's good at customer service wanted to apologize. The rest wanted to throw the nearest chair and see if anyone would bleed. What maths? Where is my friend? He tilted his head like a bird. She's contributing. Contributing to what? Balance. He said it like people say charity. His hand touched my shoulder lightly. A suggestion, not a push. If you're anxious, you can leave. Given that you're unmarked, I would suggest you do that. What? I looked at my wristband again, like maybe the stamp would magic itself there if I stared hard. Blank. I'm not. I shook my head. I didn't move. My knees locked. On stage, the pink-haired leader looked up through her fringe and met my eyes, and for 1 second, pure glee lit her face. Then it wasn't glee at all, it was stage joy, the switch-on smile. She clapped, just once. It didn't echo. "I'm not leaving her," I said. And I didn't recognize my own voice. The headset guy sighed like I'd disappointed him on a personal level. "If you don't have a stamp, you shouldn't really be here. But since you are..." A ghost of a smirk appeared on his face, voice still sugar-sweet. "Sit down or leave. If you linger, I'll call security." "I'm not stamped," I said. "And I'm not sitting." "Then leave," he said, smile never cracking. "Unmarked don't get to hover." I left. Not because I wanted to, but because every cell in my body suddenly believed him. The way you believe a fire alarm even if you don't see smoke. I didn't even know what the mark was, but I could help feeling a pang of resentment for everyone perfect enough to have one. I scanned the hallway, the adjoining rooms, the stairwell, calling Liv's name the way you call a dog that's pretending not to hear. Nobody reacted. I stopped people at random. A guy with a stack of posters, a girl adjusting a wig, a pair of lads debating best openings. Have you seen a tall girl? Wolf ears, black hoodie. Shrugs, polite smiles. "Dunno, sorry." One of them glanced at my wristband like he was checking a ticket and lost interest when he saw it was blank. Near the elevators, I bumped into a woman with a convention badge turned backwards. She looked like someone's mum who'd tried to dress for the theme and got the colours wrong. Her hands shook around a folded leaflet. "You okay?" I asked, stupidly, because she clearly wasn't. "My boy," she blurted. "Have you seen him? 10 shark hoodie, hair like this." She flattened her fringe to show me a cowlick. "He went to a special demo. They said it was safe for him to go on his own with him having that little stamp thingy." I swallowed. "I haven't, sorry." "What's his name?" She told me. I won't write it here. Saying it made her cry in that quiet, leak-down-your-face way. We searched together for a bit, doing useless loops. Security told her to check lost and found. Staff told her the day was very busy, and she should hydrate. Then tried to sell us 70p bottles of water for £10 because they had 2 Goku stickers on the front. When she stepped away to call someone, I stood there and watched people flow around the space where a small boy should be. A stupid, mean thought snuck in. Maybe Liv bailed on me on purpose. Maybe she saw me kiss Gary Stevenson behind the bike sheds last Sunday. Maybe someone told her, and this is revenge. Let me panic, then laugh about it later. It felt exactly petty enough to be true when your heart's in your throat. I kept looking until the day burned down to its threadbare end. Hours slid. I forgot to eat. The popcorn smell turned my stomach. At 5, the dregs thinned. At 6, vendors broke down displays, bubble wrap popping like distant gunfire. At 7, the con felt desolate, bin bags open, bits of wig hair stuck to carpet, a single plushie abandoned on a windowsill like a lost cat. Liv didn't walk out with any of them. A tidy woman with a company polo intercepted me upstairs. "We're closed. Load out only." "My friend is missing," I said. She didn't come out. "I'm so sorry you feel that way," she said smoothly. "Have you tried the lost and found desk?" "She's not a fucking water bottle." "Security hasn't reported a person as mislaid." "Mislaid?" I laughed once. She was here, then she wasn't. No one reacted. "Your colleague said if she had a stamp, she's where she's meant to be." "What does that mean?" "The stamps are for crowd flow," she said. "It's a very popular activation. We triage for safety." She smiled, lacquered. "If you'll excuse me. I'm not leaving without her." Something in her gaze clicked. "We don't keep people," she said, word perfect. "We keep the room. If you're concerned, please contact the email on your brochure." By 9, I went home because there was nothing left to watch but the inside of my own head. The blue evening felt fake. My hands shook all the way onto the motorway. I texted Liv all the way home, even though the messages hung like prayers on a hook. "Call me. I'm scared. Wolf ears, remember? You promised me pizza after, please." My mum greeted me at the door. "Hiya, love. You had a good time?" I didn't look her in the eye, just plopped my bag down on the counter and flopped onto the kitchen stool. Yeah, Liv bailed. I think, oh love, you think she found out about Gary and the bike sheds?" "Mum!" I exclaimed, exasperated. I stared at toast until it went cold. I tried to call Liv and it went straight to voicemail. Her stupid joke one, where she says, "Hello," and lets you ramble before the beep. I hung up on the beep like it had laughed. At 10:13, an unknown number texted, "Your friend left early. She's fine. Thanks for attending. No punctuation, no signature." I called it. A recorded voice said, "This mailbox is not set up." And then a void. I walked loops from my bed to my window, to the door like a Roomba with anxiety. Then I ran a bath so hot it turned my skin pink, and lay there until the water went lukewarm, checking my phone every minute like a rat hitting a feeder lever. Nothing. At 2:04, I started an email to the con address and got stuck on Dear because nothing after Dear felt right. Morning came like a bad copy. A notification popped. World exclusive. K-Hunters Episode 1, First Look. The thumbnail showed the girls on a stark training stage, light bars like a spine and a camera track cutting right through the center. I clicked. High production values. Glittering city. The 3 girls tore across a cold rehearsal set in perfect unison. Trainers didn't squeak. They didn't need to breathe. "New fans will love the lore," the host chirped. "Resonance harmonics." The camera cut a wide animated crowd of people in the bleachers. For a heartbeat, the lens skimmed a little boy in a shark hoodie with a stubborn cowlick. Hands in his pockets, frantically looking round with tear-stained cheeks. He didn't fit. My stomach dropped. It was like the mother from Corvuscon had given the lost little boy's description to the artists and animators, and they hand-drawn a carbon copy. Then the shot snapped back to the stage, and a graphic splashed across the bottom corner. New Huntrix member, Livy. My skin went cold. It was Liv. Not centre frame. Just off the leader's shoulder, hair tucked into a hood, wolf ears flattened by a cap. The music swelled, the routine sharpened. Livy sang 2 lines in that glossy idle cadence and hit the choreo with scary precision. Toe tap on beat 4, shoulders tracking the count. Then the edit hiccuped, just a breath, and her face wasn't stage bright at all. Bare, lost, like she'd woken up in the wrong room. A blink later, the filter smile slid back on and she nailed the next call and response. I froze the frame and took a photo. It came out blurry, a smear of pink light. I rewound. It kept happening. One flash, she's scared. The next, perfect. Like a bad connection switching between 2 channels. The host squealed about goosebumps. Comments flooded. "They're saving us. OMG, a new Huntrix. The timing." No one said, "That's my friend." No one said, "Why?" No one said, "Why have they drawn in a crying child?" I scrubbed frame by frame. At 0:47, she turned her head, just a fraction, like someone called from far away. For one frame, the light hit her eyes and made them glossy. I thought of the half circle of chairs, the thread pulling everyone's chests. The way the headset guy said, "We don't keep people. We keep the room." My phone buzzed. Unknown number. We're proud of her. I typed, "Where is she? Give her back. I'm calling the police." Green bubbles. No delivery. I dialed Liv's number, and the network told me, bright and cheerful, "Number not recognized." I stared so long, I thought I'd misdialed. Tried again, same thing. I went downstairs. "Ma'am?" My voice sounded like I'd borrowed it. "Liv's on YouTube. She's been animeified." "Who?" she said, genuinely puzzled, wooden spoon in hand. "Liv. Olivia. My best..." I stopped because my body did a strange cold ripple. "Don't joke." "I'm not," she said slowly, eyes tightening the way they do when she checks the thermostat. She reached up and touched my forehead. "You've gone white, love. Do you need to sit?" I ran upstairs and rang Liv's parents. I've known them forever. Her mum answered on the second ring. "Hi, sorry, is Liv..." "I'm sorry. Who are you trying to reach?" she said. I checked I'd dialed the right number. "Mrs. Ashford?" "That's me. I'm looking for Liv, your daughter." A puzzled beat. "We don't have a daughter." I hung up. Maybe this is all marketing. Maybe the distraught mum was a crisis actor, and all the human counterparts of the new characters that have been popping up recently got NDAs and a tote bag. Except, no, that's not right. No one remembers Liv. No one. I think that's the part that keeps catching in my throat. Last night I watched the episode again. I told myself not to, but I did. She came on, and I stood close enough to the TV to count pixels. Liv smiled again, the half-borrowed smile. The cut twitched first, like the edit knew what her face would do before she did. The timing was too clean, like the show knew her better than I ever did. I know something is up. I can't prove it in a police report. But I have the hum in my teeth. A text from a number that won't answer. And a clip where background girls act like idols, and idols act like gods. I'm going to try again in the morning. I'm going to bring the photo and the wristband and my stupid shaking hands and ask a human with a badge to say the word "missing" out loud. But right now the episode is paused at 0:47 on my TV and my best friend is on screen. Everyone thinks they've written in a new character. But I don't think so. I think the creators of these new anime TV shows don't draw their characters. I think they make them from real people somehow. And I think Comic Cons are where they hunt. If you go to CorvusCon next year and a staffer tells you to flash your stamp for an invite-only training, don't. If someone stamps your wrist and says you're perfect, ask them why. And if you see Liv on your For You page, wolf ears tucked under a hood, don't duet. Don't stitch. Don't say Queen. Just turn it off. They are stealing people from conventions and making everyone forget them. No one is noticed. I guess it's the perfect crime. It would be easy, wouldn't it? People are born to be accepted. Even when people say they don't care, they do. So why not find your hunting ground? Separate the worthy from the not with something inconspicuous, and let them come to you. Because they would, wouldn't they? If you stamp a wristband and tell a girl she's perfect, she'll step forward, even if she doesn't know what she's stepping into. They may even bring their not-so-worthy friends along to show off. Imagine being told you're perfect. You know, I hate that somewhere inside me. I'm jealous. Hi everyone, thanks for listening. That one was written by me. I stupidly asked the kids what my next story should be about, and yeah, now I can't get that song out of my head. Bet you know which one I'm talking about as well. Anyway, if you liked it, please give the video a like and consider subscribing. It really helps the channel. Now for a random fun fact. That last chorus key change you hear in tons of anime/K-pop songs is nicknamed the truck driver's gear change. It jumps the key up to trick your brain into feeling a bigger emotional lift. Basically, your feelings just got auto-tuned. Good night.